Started. It'll be about half a minute, I think, and then we'll be up and running. We're just getting everything um, taken over. What's a good word for that?
Started.
Yeah.
I wasn't really listening, but
Let's see. I'm getting the Facebook started. Hey, are we going to be able to chat on YouTube tonight?
oh, we are.
Nice. Well, I think that's everything. I think we're ready to go, guys. New live painting party, Piggy and Pete. Descriptions in there, right? Gosh. It went so quick, I thought I must have done something wrong, but I guess this is it. Here we go. Hey guys, welcome to the painting party. Cheers.
Cheers.
Chin chin.
Woo, to spring.
Yeah, here's the spring. Is it? Oh, is it officially spring?
Yesterday.
Wow.
I think. Wait, what is today? 2 days ago. The 21st.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Well, it's spring, and Easter's on his way, and all this sort of fun stuff. And spring is in the air, flowers, and
Spring.
tonight, little piggies. So I thought it would be fun. We've been talking a lot about different art workshops and different things we've done in the past, and about stuff we want to do in the future. And I thought it'd be fun if maybe we did a step-by-step painting that's sort of loose and fun and not too complex. So not really like I wouldn't call this like, I don't know, like a full-on painting in a way. Like it is, but it's a step-by-step. It's just a simple pig. It'd be a fun thing to do, almost like folk art, I think, in a way.
Yeah.
You know, like you could paint this on a board. You could paint it on lots of different things. Like growing up, my mom had all this folk art stuff around the house, and she'd have chickens and pigs and roosters and all kinds of stuff, cows, and then this would be that sort of thing. And but this would also be a fun thing to do with kids. And so I did a line drawing here, and I'll show it to you. So here's the drawing.
It's super cute.
No, a little baby. Yeah. So it's all spring, it's flowers. Now this drawing was inspired by some like line drawing stuff that they have online, where it's step-by-step painting and art, and which is pretty cool because there's all these resources that you can go online. So if you have fun with this and you want to do something yourself or get inspired by something else, you can go on there. There's lots of free stuff that they have, which is pretty cool. But I'm going to post a picture of this, or we are where are we going to post this picture? Would you say?
Well, I did already post it on your Facebook.
Oh wow!
Like saying, hey, join us. So the post right before this live feed has it.
Oh.
Otherwise, I will. I don't know if I can share it in the comments. I'll try, but otherwise, I'll definitely post it on the Patreon.
Oh, cool!
That's a place I can put high res files.
Well, cool. You're super efficient. That's awesome.
Yay me!
And the nice thing about this drawing too, let me show it to you, is that if you're visually impaired, it's black lines on a white background. So if you have some residual vision, if contrast helps you, then this will be good. Of course, I got fingerprints and other little things on it, but that's okay. And so, but also if you're working with someone, and if they wanted to make the black lines into raised lines, like my lines I can feel. So if if you had somebody that could go over this, like print this out and then go over it with puffy paint or an acrylic paint, like the type of paint that I use, then you can touch and feel it. So it makes it where anybody can do this. And
It's a good idea.
Yeah, it'll be on the video on Facebook forever.
Yeah,
so
and for anybody out there that doesn't have a printer, or I don't know, you can also use that app, the DaVinci Eye app, and you can hover your phone over a piece of paper and trace it that way.
Oh wow, there you go.
So,
yeah.
I did one.
You did a video about that app like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
I did. It's cool. It might just be for Apple, but it's cool. I did one of John's drawings because I'm gonna paint along with it, but mine's in loose pencil, so you can't really.
Oh, so it's a little hidden. So it'll come to light as you do it.
Yeah.
Well, guys.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Well, I was just gonna say the colors that you were gonna need for this. And I'm just gonna give basic colors because honestly, like a yellow, and I'm not gonna say cadmium medium yellow because any yellow that you have will work. But I'm probably gonna use a medium cad yellow and a lemon yellow. You really only need one. I'm gonna use two. Black, white, cerulean blue or a light blue, pink, in a lighter pink, which you can, if you have one pink or red, you can mix. You can make the pinks as light as you want. We'll get into that. In green, I have both dark and light green. And like I say, and with the paints, they have a million different shades of green. They're a million different colors. If you've ever been into an art store, you've seen that. If you've ever been into Lowe's or Home Depot and walked over to where they have all the paint chips and all the little stuff, you'll see they have a million shades of white, and it's all white. It's crazy. And then also brown, burnt sienna works great.
So basically, you need all the colors.
Well, yeah, just really just a blue, green, pink, brown, black, white, and yellow.
Quick, guys, go get it.
So the rainbow.
Well, Owen joins us and says, when I saw that drawing, it reminded me of Wilbur, the pig from Charlotte's Web, for some reason.
Oh, nice.
I can see that totally. I totally get it. And my mom joins us and says, hi, guys. So cute.
Oh, thank you. Hey, that's cool.
So, speaking of pigs named Wilbur, I used to have one.
Yeah. Gosh, yeah, I've heard stories about that pig. You could also paint a little spider coming down.
Ooh, that's a great idea. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that.
Ooh.
It'll be, what did she put in the thing? This is an okay pig, or this is a... It was something real
average pig. What is she right? I can't remember that now.
Good. Well, it wasn't good pig. Somebody out there will tell us.
Yeah. What did Charlotte write in the web? And they kept Wilbur from being executed for his bacon.
Made into bacon.
Well, so guys, so the way that we're gonna do this, we're gonna chat, just hang out while we do this. But so we're gonna do this in layers. We're gonna do the background first, and that's because we may get a little paint over Wilbur here, or over the grass or the flowers or something, but that's okay because we'll just paint over it whenever we get to Wilbur or whatever, and then we'll do Wilbur next, and that's because we may get a little of the pink or something over the flowers, but then we'll do the flowers. So that's why we're doing the background, then the pig, then the flowers, because it'll just make it easier. We don't have to be as careful with it. If you get outside the lines a little bit over Wilbur, don't worry, we'll just paint it out whenever we get to it.
Oh, yeah. Well, Owen said, yeah, great idea about the spider hanging from the thing. My mom said, yes, you did. I did have a pig named Wilbur when I was in high school. And Cassie Garb joins us, says, Jackie, is that a mimosa? Absolutely. In fact, it's funny because normally we drink mimosas, but this time today I was like, you know what, I'm just going to have some straight champagne. But then I opened the champagne and I poured it in. I took one sip of it, and then I remembered that it was a bottle that we had pulled from the pantry that we've had in there probably like 5 years, probably. And so it tasted a little weird, so I decided to add orange juice to fix it. There
you go. Well, I wanted a mimosa anyway.
Yeah, you were already drinking it with orange juice, so... fixed it. I'm pretty sure it's a different brand.
Hey, let me say real quick. We're painting. So we're starting on the background, and I'm just doing it with a blue, and so I just want to tell anybody this doing it. So I got the.
You're gonna have it done by the time we like.
No. I just want to because So what I'm doing is that these black lines are tactile for me. They're a little sticky, so I can feel them. So what I'm doing is I'm just going over and I'm just adding in blue. Now this painting it's not gonna be like the typical painting that you see me paint all the time. Or if you go to the website and you look at the paintings, they're like, oh, they're all crazy. I'm gonna try to keep this a little more. I hate to say normal, but I'm gonna keep it a little more normal. Like I'm going to make a blue sky and a pink pig and all that because I want to keep to the sort of folk tradition, of it being like a blue sky and all that. And then I will go and add some colors because, I got to be me. But so you can make it your own. You can do whatever you want. Right now I'm putting cerulean blue mixed with a little titanium white just to make it a little bit lighter. Because in that way, me making it lighter down here around Wilbur, I can darken it up in the sky and make it a little more atmospheric.
Nice.
Yeah, and Jackie is actually going to be using watercolor, which is really cool.
I am. So let me say really fast, Barbara Brands joins us and says Barbara's here too. Thanks for joining us.
Barbara.
Awesome. And Owen said, I remember the animated movie Humble was one of the words. So yes.
Oh.
Humble. I remember that. And then Ron Captain has joined us. Hey, Ron.
Hey, Ron.
It says, hi, guys. And Stephanie Cook said, radiant, terrific, some pig.
Oh.
Yes.
That is some pig.
Yes.
There you
Hi,
go.
hi,
Yeah.
guys. Great to see you. So thanks for joining. Okay, yeah.
Man, that's awesome.
So John's going to be doing his painting, and I'm actually going to do this as well at the same time. So I'm going to try to manage some comments and, drinking my mimosa and doing this at the same time. But this is what I'm using. I bought this little watercolor kit. It's like a travel watercolor kit, and it's Koi watercolors. I'll hold it up to the thing.
Oh, it's called Koi? That's cool.
Yeah. That's like the logo that you're seeing there. That's the logo, and when you open it, it has like just some simple colors in it and a sponge, and then it comes with this water brush, which this is like the thing that holds the water in it, and this is the brush. Okay. So I already have water loaded in it, and it just sits in that kit with this like thing that closes it off, and then I just take this off and screw the water brush on. So what I like to keep this next to me on the couch, and if I'm like going nuts or something in my own head, I'll just whip it out and I can or watercolor in this book. So while John's doing that, I'm going to make an attempt to do the same thing, and we'll see what happens.
And that's cool, guys. Like, I'm so glad you decided to do this in watercolor, sweetheart, because, I'm using acrylics, and the acrylics that I use, I have all these different mediums mixed in with them quite often, and stuff to change the way they feel, and, it doesn't have to be the same way. Whatever you have. If you have markers, you have colored pencils, you have crayons, it's all cool. And like I said, we're going to have this picture. It's on the web. It's on our, no, it's not on the website. It's on our Facebook. So you can print it out and use it, and it's based off other, like, there's a million drawings of a pig that looks like this out there. So, so feel free to use this, and, it's going to look like every other illustration of a pig that's out there, because, you make a cartoon pig, and this is pretty much what they all look like. So here you go. And, so feel free to use it. Print off a bunch of copies for your kids, for grandkids, for, for anything. Have a little painting party. And but what I'm doing though is I started with a 1/2 inch. I did my 1/2 inch flat was it's like it might get at the mural. I don't know. We're working on the mural at the play. I think I left it there, but
yeah, that was the other thing that we were gonna last week. We were gonna talk about it.
Oh yeah. So we can definitely talk about that, and which is super fun and super cool. And during the COVID times, actually being out of the studio is really cool. Like, I mean, it's fun. Like, the place, they're very COVID. They're very respectful of COVID. They don't want to make anybody uncomfortable or anything like that. They're, so they follow all the guidelines and stuff. And it's funny because it's apple powder.
Yeah.
It's a Denton Arts. So it's this huge building, and it's funny. Like, for most of the time, there's 4 murals going up, and but there might be like one other artist that's working on their bit, and it's this huge building, and every once in a while somebody will come in, and a couple of people work there, so you've got, like, I don't know, 20,000 square feet with about 3 or 4 people in it, but it still feels like after being COVID and put away from people, it still feels like, oh my goodness, I'm around people.
Contact.
Oh gosh, I've had 3 conversations with people. And I don't know, it's kind of cool.
Well, Barbara asked what we did on our anniversary.
Oh, man.
Which is like a great question, because we did some stuff.
Well, I feel like I'm talking a lot. Do you want to say?
Sure. We, it's funny, because you're much better at this painting and talking thing.
Let me say really quickly. I'm sorry, just because while you're doing that, I'm going to start on the pig, and what I'm going to do is mix a light pink for the body. So I'm going to work in the body. That's the next step. I've got this blue around the sky, and you can always go back in. Just because you put a color in doesn't mean it has to be done. So we can always let that dry, work on another bit. So let that dry. I'm going to put a light pink in all over the body. And I'm just going to block it in. You hear me talking about blocking in colors every week. Well, this is a real simple way to do it. So I'm gonna work on that. Well, you tell us all about our. I must say, I loved our anniversary. We had so much fun with you. That was brilliant.
Oh, thanks, babe. So yeah, so what it was fun. We grabbed a bite to eat out, and that was cool. But then we wanted to go to this place we had heard about called the Upstairs Circus in Deep Ellum. And I know Barbara is hip to the cool places to hang out. So, it's in Deep Ellum. It's right on Main Street, and it's like right in the heart of that area. But Upstairs Circus, and what you do is you go in. First you get online and you decide on. You have to reserve a spot to go because they have like super strict COVID rules. And you go in, and all it is a sort of a bar mashed with a DIY craft scenario. So you reserve your time to be there, and then when you get there, you look over a menu of all these sort of different crafts that you can do, like full-on kits, and then you order a drink. It was great. So so John and I went. I did a bracelet, which I should have grabbed it. That's funny.
I should have grabbed my flask. I didn't really.
And John did a flask, and so it was cool. They had they give you everything: the flask, the leather, the stitching. You even stained the leather. That was pretty cool. And then the bracelet I did was a bit complicated, and I spent most of the evening working with John on the flask. So that was pretty fun, and it was. So by the end of it, when he finished his flask, I was like rushing through my bracelet, and it was supposed to be this sort of like braided bracelet that all like it was thread and nuts, like screw nuts or whatever, and they were supposed to be all evenly thing, and it just ended up being a mess and everything. But I kind of liked it. I thought it was very
I thought it was
organic.
Cool too.
It was organic.
I mean, it didn't look like what they what they had it, like the idea of what they put out. But that didn't mean it was worse, though, you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I thought it was, it felt like coral or something, or like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I dug it. I thought it was cool. And it was all about the experience, and we had some drinks, and that was pretty much it. So it was a new experience. It was pretty fun. I dug it.
Did I'm sorry, I was thinking about my pig's ears. Did you mention my flask, what I put on it and everything?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, yeah, so I did a flask. Like, I didn't make a flask, but it was either that or a dog collar, and I wasn't sure if the dog collar, like if I made it, if it would hold up, because you know, Eagle's a working dog, and I didn't want her to, I didn't want to make some kind of crazy collar that I'd try to put together and then go flying off. But so they had a flask, and you make a leather band that goes around it, and then you have to sew it all together and glue it on and all this sort of stuff, and then you punch or you hammer words into it.
Yeah, stencils. They'll give you little, like, whatever you call those things.
Like punches, or hammers with a, like, the thing, kung, 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 kung. So I so I wrote 14 years because it was our 14-year anniversary. But we've been together. Our relationship is 18 years old, and our marriage is 14 years old. So I'll put that in there, So I figured if somebody saw it, they'd say, "Oh, what does the 14 stand for?" And I'd be able to tell them.
That's
so
nice, baby.
And it did. It worked. One of the people there saw was 14 stand for. And I was able to say it's 14 years served.
Then we got a free shot.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we got a free one. They brought some over, but
that's true. I will
say
that
we might have paid for it.
That's true. I will say the place was mildly pricey, but it was. I think it was about the experience. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, Linda joins us. Says, "Was Eagle glad to get out while you worked?"
Yeah. She sure was, and we're actually doing a live stream at the mural that on Thursday. It'll be on their live stream, and so we'll be there and we'll be showing it. And
I could probably try and go live and share it or something.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So,
and so that'll be fun. And yeah, Eagle really enjoyed it. I have this bedroll sort of thing for dogs that I bring. It's like a dog bed, but it rolls up almost like a cowboy bedroll. And then I can hook it on my backpack where I have all my paints and stuff. So if she's going somewhere and I know it's going to be hard floors, then I'll bring that. So she had that to lay on, and I had big canvas drop cloth. So she actually had a really good time just snoozing and hanging out. and she
Yeah,
gets
and
some love every once in a while.
And she'll let you know when she's bored.
Yeah, she definitely will sigh.
Yes.
So right now I'm just putting the pink down, and I'm trying to keep I'm trying to do this fairly fast, so it's probably not the absolute best coverage. If we've been watching a lot of Ink Master, and they talk about saturation, and I don't think I've got the perfect color saturation going on here, and I'm trying to keep my hands clean because I'm touching and feeling, so I'm getting a lot of wet paint on my fingers while I'm trying to feel it, but that's okay.
It's looking cute.
Oh, thank you.
I'm trying to go super fast. I'm not used to this
Me
painting and
too.
talking thing. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, this is fun though. I feel like I feel like we're on an episode of Ink Masters in a way. It was like, all right, you gotta go. You only got an hour. But it's fun. I don't know. It's different. I've been working on a commission in the studio all day, and that's very, very slow, like very methodical. And which it's been really enjoyed it. But it's definitely a different pace than this. Which is it's interesting. So how's yours looking? Do you have anything you can show the camera?
Oh gosh. Well, no, that's a good ad.
Oh, mercy.
Well, mine. Okay, the problem with mine is it's watercolor. So not only am I trying to go fast, I'm trying to strategically figure out what I can paint, let dry, and move on. So it's really and I'm not starting with the pig. I'm actually starting with the flowers down below.
20 minutes in and you've already gone rogue.
Well, yeah, we've done this before. This is not our first try to. You remember that one we did where we were side by side and I tried to paint exactly like you, it was the water scene with the trees and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Man, it's hard. Even when you're following directions, it's hard. Like I imagine what those paint and sip places are like. I'd be raising my hand every 5 minutes.
Yeah. That's cool. It's all part of the fun, really. I mean, I think it's not, So if you're giving this a try, if you decide to do this yourself, just give yourself time, and know, if you're printing this out, or if you're using carbon paper, if you want to print this out, I have a really heavyweight watercolor paper that this is going on, and and I have it taped to the board back here, and so you could actually print this out on a printer if you wanted, and if you have some carbon paper or something, you could trace it out onto watercolor paper, or you could hand draw it the way Jackie's doing over there. But if you feel uncomfortable doing a hand drawing of it, then of course you can always trace it, and or you can just print it out. Of course, the only thing is computer paper generally isn't very thick. So if you want to do that, or if you want to do lots of paintings like this, you could get cardstock that's cut for a computer paper, and that's really nice because it's a lot thicker. It's not as thick as watercolor paper, but it'll hold up a lot better, especially if you're using paints like acrylic paints. It won't make it all bendy and stuff, all crazy and warped. But so that's always an option. There's always things. There's no wrong way. You just kind of play around with it, and you find something that works for you, and then that's the best.
Well, Owen said Saturday on Facebook Live, Art Possible Ohio, formerly VSA of Ohio, is having a virtual art exhibit, and I have an acrylic painting of a guide dog that I did for this event. Oh, that's cool.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Congrats, awesome.
I love VSA. Those guys are awesome.
They're great, and they're fun to hang out with. And Kylie Sykes joins us and says, "Good evening to all."
Well, hey Kylie.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
We're doing a mad dash to paint.
Piggy in pink. I couldn't think of what to call it. No, all I could think is pretty in pink, and so there we go.
I like Piggy in pink.
I should call this Piggy Molly instead of Wilbur, because Molly Ringwolf. Or what was it Duckman? In that, or was that 16 Candles or something he was in?
I think that was 16 Candles.
I always get those confused. I haven't seen him since I was a kid.
I should know this.
Maybe I bet somebody will know. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in on the ears and the top part of the nose here. I'm gonna do a much darker pink. At least that's the idea. Then on the lip or the mouth down here, I'm going to do a brown later. But right now though, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try to make this a darker pink. So we'll see how well this goes.
Yeah, and I would try to hold mine up for everybody to see, but because it's watercolor, it'll all run down.
Your
so
painting will run off the table.
I'll let it like at least soak in, and but I did my flowers first, and then I'm gonna move to the sky because I have to let I can't do like the pig is in the middle, right? So if I paint the pig, then top and bottom will both be wet when I go to do.
Oh,
you know, so I'm trying to see. I have a method to my madness here.
Well, I've got madness in my method, so it all works out in the end. I'll tell you a secret about my painting though, is that all the pinks that I'm using are fluorescent, so they will glow in a black light. So it'll be like I'm having a radioactive pig. It's a Chernobyl pig.
That's cool.
Oh, yeah. Psychedelic pig. Be ready for the 70s.
The other cool thing about this watercolor set is that whenever, like, it's so great to travel with because, like, you know, you can see here I've got a bunch of, like, blue on this. But if I want to get rid of that blue, I can just dab it on here and then squeeze the water out of it, and it'll kind of clear it and soak it up. So then I can move on to the next color. So I don't need a cup of water or anything like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I'll admit it.
Pretty cool. Boop, 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 boop. So, what I'm going to do now, so I'm really kind of at the third step of this in a way. Like I did the sky and I did it blue. I did the light pink on the pig, and now I'm doing I did a dark pink on the pig. Now I'm going to move to burnt sienna, which is just a nice brown. It's sort of an orangey brown. But what I'm using is artist ink, or it's a pigment. What is this? I don't know. I didn't braille it. I just have burnt sienna on it that I brailled on here. But it's a transparent sort of burnt sienna, and your paint doesn't have to be burnt sienna. I mean, it doesn't have to be burnt sienna, and it doesn't have to be transparent. I'm just using it because it's what I'm used to, and I really like to. I like that I can put this on and use it as almost like a wash, like a tinting. So if you have your acrylic, if you put a little flow release in it or a tiny bit of water, you don't want to mix too much water with your acrylics because the acrylics have to be able to stick together to bond. And if you have too much water, they don't make good bonds, and it'll lead to cracking. So if you've ever seen the cracks in something like that, that's a why. That's a why. We've been watching Brian.
Well, I'll blame it on him.
Yeah, our friend Brian has introduced us to Rick and Morty.
Oh my gosh, and that show.
Oh yeah, that's gosh.
We should preface it with it is hugely inappropriate. It's a cartoon, but it's very adult.
Yeah. So it's very, very adult, but it's also, gosh, it's a cartoon. I like cartoons, but it's like I don't know if I really want to get. But it's so creative that it's really funny. But at the very end, one of the I forget what they call it. But like the end where it has like production company, and they'll have little like a 3-second little promo of themselves.
Yeah.
And there's one that's like, that's a good show. I've just got that in my head now. I can't get it out. That's a good.
Remind me of Mario.
Thank you. Oh, speaking of Mario, we had the real life Mario out at the house today.
Oh yeah, our plumbing it was jacked.
Yeah, we have a ton of trees in our yard, just a ton of them, and so every year to 2 years, our trees declare war upon us. That's a friendly war because we love our trees, but it's an expensive war because
we're slowly winning.
Yeah, all the limbs and stuff go underneath the house, and they mess with the plumbing. So every so often we have to have them come out and like auger all the roots and stuff. And so they came out here today and did that. And at first it was sort of a pain, but now we're kind of used to it. So just like it must be that time. But it's worth it though. I mean, we're in Texas. I mean, we've learned if you're gonna have trees all around your house, you're probably gonna end up with some issues, especially when your house is maybe 50 years old. Those trees are nice, huge, mature trees.
Yeah.
Those roots are gonna go places. But so it's worth it. We got lots of birds and we have shade in the summer. It's probably worth a little plumbing tax. So So what I'm doing though is I'm taking this burnt sienna, guys, and I put it along the top of his nose and along his ears, which I don't really like yet. But I'm going to take some white later. I'm going to put that on the ears too. So everything's going to be changing a little bit. But I put a little bit on his nose, her nose, Molly. Okay, Wilbur Molly, and along like his neck over here. And I'm going to put a little more over here. But I'm going to try to be a little lighter on this side. So because I have this transparent burnt sienna, I have it on my brush, but it's almost like a dry brush now. So it's in the brush, but it's very, very little bit. It's a very, very little bit. And so I know that when I'm rubbing the bristles on it, it's going to be making just a little bit of a difference. And that's really all I want. Sorry, I'll put a little more. It's funny because whenever I first started using this technique, maybe 10 years ago, it was mind-numbing. I'd be sweating when I was doing it. But you do something for 10 years, and you start to you start to get into the flow of it and able to flow with a little bit more. So I know after all that, kind of what this is supposed to be doing. I've also learned to relax a little bit. So, if it looks a little bit different, I'm not going to stress too much. So there's the Piggy so far.
I like how you're like, well, you can just paint over it, and I'm struggling over here, man.
Oh, is there something I can help with?
No, I'm just it's the medium watercolor. It's just difficult.
Oh yeah, watercolor is extremely
fast.
challenging. But it's rewarding though, because whenever you get something that you really, really like, you're like, oh my gosh, like you get that rush because it is so challenging. But yeah. It's definitely one of the hardest. I think watercolor is probably the hardest paint.
I would agree. Okay, so
there's white gouache over there if you need it. I think in the big red cabinet
thanks.
somewhere.
Cool. Well, Owen shared a link to the exhibit, so check that out if you guys are looking at the comments. And he said one of his paintings will be shown, so that'll be great to see. And then he asked, do you use burnt sienna for shading? I heard you could also use dark purple for shading too.
Oh yeah. You can use, really, honestly, that's a good question, Owen. You can use pretty much any color for shading, which is nice. And purple is used a lot for shadows, especially like with the if you think of like Monet and the Impressionists like that. They would use purple quite a bit for shadows. They would almost never use black. Like Monet didn't even carry black with him. He didn't like black. But he would use all the other colors like blues and purples and mix those together and stuff and make a very black-like sort of thing if you needed it, but yeah, burnt sienna is really good. You can even draw in burnt sienna to work out the tones, the lightness and darkness, so you can work out the values of your painting. So that's a really nice way to do it. A lot of times you'll see artists doing black, white, and gray drawings and paintings. I do that quite a bit. So you can work out just worry about how light or dark something is, but you don't have to use gray. You can use burnt sienna is another really popular color for that, where people will make some areas really dark, some areas really light. Especially you'll see portrait painters using burnt sienna like that quite a bit, because it's already sort of a flesh tone. And if it's like a Caucasian person, and you just start going it more towards a pinky reddish sort of spectrum. If a person is a darker complexion, then you just start adding in other colors that kind of shift towards that direction. So it's a nice little middle ground there. So there. Ta-da! Aren't you sorry you asked? So I'm just going in with a little burnt sienna for the shading on this. And I'm probably going to leave it right there. Does that look okay to you? What do you think?
Oh, yeah, that's super cute.
Oh, thanks. Oh, you know what? Also, with all this pink. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do something different. Okay, I'm doing it different. Okay, I'm going to add a Johnism. Okay, I'm gonna go in with a liquid medium. It's a cadmium yellow medium hue, but I have acrylic flow release. So it's in a bottle. A lot of times the bottles I use don't necessarily, this isn't the paint that came in this bottle. I just use the bottle because it's handy. But it has acrylic flow release, and I mixed it with a regular acrylic paint. But the really cool thing, like for color theory, is pinks and It sounds like it's scientific. Color theory is that pinks and yellows love each other. they're in a very deep, loving relationship, and it's so great because like yellow just can make pink pop in a way that few other colors can. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that in here because it's going to give a little bit of a vibrancy. And honestly, you probably aren't going to be able to see it on the camera. It's one of those things where you see it in person and it's just like that color is suddenly so much more rich. At least that's what I've been told. So either people are lying to me or it works.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah. It's like a mad dash over here. It's crazy.
Where are you on it?
So I'm doing the pig now. Yeah, I'm doing the pig.
So I'm gonna take some lemon yellow now and put that in there a little bit.
And I guess like I'm having, because I don't want them solid pink because that's super weird. So I'm gonna see if I can mix in a little bit of like ochre.
I tell you what,
Mm-hmm.
the yellow tip I was just saying works really well with watercolors as well. So if you're wanting to darken some areas in the watercolor, you can add some of that yellow to it, like after the pink's already down.
Yeah.
And it'll darken that pink, and it'll be like adding like a deeper tint to it.
Mm.
So adding some shadow and stuff.
Okay, cool. Well, Owen says thanks, John.
Oh heck yeah, man! Congratulations again. That's really cool. I'm so proud of you for making that happen, man. That's really awesome. And what's cool is that Owen is a visually impaired artist as well, and the more people out there that with a disability that are getting into the arts and sharing their arts with people, the more I think it helps spread awareness. I mean, it's just, because people see that and they go like, oh yeah, so, it's not such a limitation. So I don't know. That's pretty brilliant, man. And I was doing a podcast yesterday. Seems like with the COVID, it's way less traveling, obviously, but way more podcasts that I've been on, and it's really interesting because you talk to people and you get different views around the country and about different artists and stuff, and I don't know, it's kind of. And yesterday we were talking a lot about, and the podcast isn't out, and I can't think of the name. I'll share that when I get it. Whenever I have to. Yeah, I'm terrible with names of things. I can't remember the name of the podcast, but we're talking about how important it is for people to share. If you have a disability or if you know somebody that does, and go out there and share the stories. Just being out out and about can really help. So right now I'm just putting in like a few little areas of white, just to help lighten things up a little bit, to get some highlights. I'm doing that over the top of the ears. Now on the bottom of the ears there, I've got this black here. I'm actually going to go over the line with the white for a little bit. I'm going to have that go up because I just wanted to, I don't know, I just want to try that out, just see what it's like. I may decide not to do that, but I think I'm going to cover up some of the darkness on this.
So, oh gosh, I'm trying to do his nose darker without it bleeding everywhere.
So I don't know if I like that, but it's a thought. So I'm going to do this other side. Leaving the black lines might be the way to go, but I don't know. I'm going to try this in my mind. I had a certain look, and now like when I was doing it, I was thinking a certain way, and then as I started doing it, I thought, I don't know if that's the way you want to go, because in my mind I have a picture of the pig, and it has these cute little white lines and stuff going around, and then me thinking about it a little bit more, I think, is that cute? I don't know. Sorry, Molly, if I'm messing you up. Don't take it personally, sweetheart. But oh well, it'll be fun.
All right.
But one thing though, the reason that I thought about maybe covering up some of these black lines is to soften the face a little bit, because the heavy black lines can make it seem a little severe. So I just don't want it to come off as too severe. So I don't know. I can always put them back.
Okay, so I feel like I've got my pig colored in.
All right.
Oh gosh.
Is it still too wet for you to show anybody?
It is, but I want to, and I'm trying to like clean up some areas where it's bleeding.
Oh, we got faith in you.
The paint, not the pig. Okay.
You can do it. So.
And what would be cool with mine, because it's watercolor, because I don't have any black lines on mine. Is to then go in and add the black lines. Mm-hmm. Or like with like an ink pen. So I brought that to do, but I don't know if I'm going to get to that because I don't know if it'll be dry enough for all that.
Well, I should say with most drawings and stuff, that's what people do. They'll start out with a pencil drawing, very light. They won't have these big thick black lines, and they'll just go in and put them where they want them. And that's kind of what I do with. But for me, I can't feel a pencil, so I've got to use paint that I can touch and feel. I could have done it in white paint, and it wouldn't have been as visual, but then trying to do a tutorial, and me saying, I'm working on the nose, and you can't see the nose, and so I thought, I don't know, I'll just stick with my black lines. But yeah, so that's what you're talking about, going and putting the lines in. That's completely reasonable. That makes sense. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to I'm gonna start adding in some color. What I want to do is just basically get the basic pig and all that painted. So we'll have that, and then you can embellish it however you want. So now the idea is that I've got all these little flowers that I drew in here. Now I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna color these leaves a light green, which for me it's kind of weird. I don't normally do normal colors, so this is kind of cool. But like I said, I want this to have a bit of a folk art sort of feel, So I don't want to get too crazy, but I will get crazy. So what I'm doing is I'm blocking in these leaves. So if they're not perfect, that's perfectly fine. Have you ever seen a leaf that's perfectly perfect? I haven't.
Every once in a while, I think you descend into this Bob Ross. I haven't seen a perfect leaf.
I think you paint enough, and everybody's inner Bob Ross comes out at some point. Maybe instead of my hair falling out, it'll just start to turn into an afro. The older I get.
Some people would kill for that.
Hey.
Although his hair just fell out, and he had to wear an afro.
Well, that was cancer, I think, wasn't it?
Okay, I don't know.
Wasn't it? And then he had to wear. I don't know, but he did wear afro wigs, which.
Didn't he hate it or something?
Well, yeah, he wanted to change his hairstyle because he had like that hairstyle in the 70s, and then when the 80s hit and the 90s, he's like, gosh, but it was just so much his everybody knew him from. Wearing like the denim and the hair and all that, it was his trademark at that point. And I was like, what are you gonna do? It was like Roy Orbison. If he took off his, the pretty woman guy. If he ever took off his sunglasses, he would just be Roy. He was like, who's that guy?
No more Orbison.
It's just Roy. No more Orbison.
No more. Okay, I think Owen says, or Sheila McComas joins us and says, oink oink, cute.
Oh, thank you.
Dana joins us and says, I love this. I love watching you both. Your art and your dynamics are beautiful. What are your favorite things people to paint? What inspire your artistic choices? Thank you guys so much for sharing your art.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Gosh, right now my favorite thing not to paint would be grass, because I'm getting this grass everywhere. I'm just getting the green everywhere, but that's okay. What is your favorite thing to work on?
Well,
you don't usually paint. Like, it's really unusual for you to paint.
I'm not a painter, but
when you do though, what? Oh, I think I might know. I have a guess. You seem to really like to do figure stuff, like a lot of faces.
Yes.
And like you'll draw like the form and different things, and that's
I like
really
to
cool.
do, and I'm not very good, so.
Oh, I think you're great.
Well, I mean, I'm decent, but it's not like I'm not gonna pick it up as a profession. But I like to do figure. I really love the look of art that has that sort of loose sketch figure. I just stumbled on an Instagram guy last night that all he posts are these, like, it's almost like he did it with like maybe 3 lines, and it's these beautiful sketches of figures, and it's like, ugh, I wish I could do that. So anytime I'm practicing or working on stuff, I'm usually doing figures just to like mess around with it, but that's, you know, that's just me messing around. So I mean, you're the guy.
I'm the guy.
I like to see you paint dogs. You're really good at dogs.
I like to paint dogs. Dogs are super fun to paint. And I know I've probably said this before, but it's funny whenever you do a portrait like of a person, everybody, like if you make a happy person, most people will see a happy person, but sometimes they won't. You know, like they'll say, oh, that person's, I don't know, confused or something. You know, they won't necessarily get it. But if you make a happy dog, everybody sees a happy dog, or an angry dog. Everybody, you know, it's funny how you can almost convey emotion easier with a dog than you can with a human face. But you know, but I love to paint animals, and I love. I'm working on a commission right now where it's this couple, and they're out in the woods. Actually, it's not even a couple. It's a pre-couple. they're about to meet and they don't even know it. So it's a painting of this walkway, this curving around like this little lake sort of area, and it's all wooden planks, and there's trees coming up all around them, and it's curving. So it has this woman, and she's walking in a dress, and you just see the back of her, and she's like towards the front of the painting, and she's walking away from you, but then curving around though. Like there's different trees that are sort of blocking the view, but then you see this man that's walking towards her. You know, are they meant to be? Is it not? I don't know. But, you know, stuff like that's fun. I don't know. A lot of my paintings, I'll put little stories in with it, and so I don't know. That's kind of fun. I like to paint all kinds of things, really.
Well, Owen says I draw animals better than people. LOL.
Yeah,
I don't. Oh, he asked what kind of canvas are you using, or is that paper?
This is a really heavyweight watercolor paper, and I said that so that because I knew I'd be using some pretty high flow sort of paints, and that way the water wouldn't the paper wouldn't buckle or anything while I'm working. But I almost always paint on canvas, but every once in a while, like I'll paint on paper, and I don't know, I like it. I like paper. It's really kind of the same. I mean, for the lot, like one nice thing about paper like this is it doesn't have a lot of tooth, so it's really smooth, and you can paint kind of fast with it, which makes it nice for something like this. So I just got paint on my face, I think. Oh,
you know, I don't do a lot of animals. I think animals. I don't know, especially dogs. Like I guess. They intimidate me a little bit because I feel like I don't know. I feel like with I feel like with a dog, it's so the face, the shape of a dog is so I don't want to say generic, but it's so typical that what you have to rely on is like getting the personality and the fur and the funniness in it. You know, otherwise it can get awry, which I feel like with a face, I mean, it can go horribly wrong easily, but at least like the features are vastly different. I don't know, that's probably ridiculous, but
no, that's interesting. Now you're making me worried about painting dogs. I never thought of it like that. That's horrible.
You paint dogs great.
Well, I like painting dogs. They're a lot of fun. But now they used to be. Now I'm all worried. No, dogs actually, I don't know, like, if you get the breed down, like, whenever I was a teenager, I was quite a bit of a nerd, but I love dogs, and this is a very nerdy thing to say, but I would go to the library, and I would check out AKC books of dogs, and just read about the dog breeds.
You are a nerd.
And how, you know what I mean, so what is the standard for this breed? What's the standard for that? I did for cats, too. You know, so, like, for little did I know that you know years and years down the road that all that sort of stuff really helped, because if someone says, oh, you know, I have an English bulldog or I have a cocker spaniel, I have a really good idea what that dog looks like, you know, because I just, you know, I read about the personalities, and of course met all the dogs I could, but read about their personalities and what they're like, and and what they're trained for, what their history was, and I don't remember it all, but I remember quite a bit. And so I don't know. I've always loved dogs. I've always been a nerd, so it's kind of worked out. Here, I'm gonna make this.
Okay, so Philip Sosa joins us and says, is there any kind of tips you would give to non-sighted individuals who are trying to get back into painting, art, sketching? Have a particular brand of paint you prefer?
That's a good question. What I did, and I'm hesitating because everybody is different. So, sorry, I just hit the camera again. What worked for me may not work for another person as well. But for me, though, I was working on very simple shapes because whenever I was sighted, I did very detailed sort of paintings. And then whenever I lost my sight and I was trying to learn how to draw again, I was working on very, very simple shapes like squares and circles and triangles, which can actually be kind of cool. You can work on some very abstract, kind of interesting sort of stuff. And I kept the colors down to a minimum. So I only had black, white, and red, and I used that for months and months and months and months. Well, months and months, but I painted a lot every day, and then I would add another color in. So I'd say, but everybody's different. I mean, like I've worked with hundreds of visually impaired artists, and some of them will jump in with all the colors, and that works for them. For me, I had to kind of ease into it. But the main thing, though, is to really give yourself time, and that's if you're an artist with a disability or not. Make sure that you allow yourself to make lots and lots of mistakes. Make sure that you're letting yourself fail and fail a lot. Like, you need to fail. You need to really put yourself out there on it and fall on your face a lot with it. And that's perfectly fine. That's all part of it. You need to do that. That's part of the process. And to be okay with it. Because every time you mess something up in a painting, you learn a little bit more about it. And, that's a great place to mess up in your life, is on something like this, and learn how to deal with it. And then next time you do it a little bit better. But paints, though, I usually use Liquitex or Golden. It doesn't really, I would definitely get the artist quality. I mean, not the artist quality, I'm sorry, the student quality. The only difference between those usually and the more expensive artist quality is the amount of pigment that's in it. But if you're just starting out, you don't really need the crazy amount of pigment that's packed into like a little tube of paint. It's almost a waste. So you don't really need that. And there's some applications when you're painting where you really want it, but most of the time you don't. And for me, I still use most of what I get is Liquitex Basics, and it's just a student quality paint. But if I need more pigment, I've got all these pigments that I'll pump into it. So, I don't know. I don't. Was that a very good answer? Is there?
Yeah.
Could you add more to it? Is there? I know I'm not missing lots of stuff, but I'm so sorry. But just give it a try, really.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think, I think you get this question a lot, like especially over email, and really you pretty much said it. It's like practice, don't judge yourself, and then, tried a bunch of different materials. Like you tried Elmer's glue at first, then it soaked into the canvas, and
it takes so long for it to dry.
And then there's like tulip. I mean, there's all sorts of different things to leave a raised line if you're just trying to create an image or sketch or whatever. I mean, there's some people even like use yarn, and they'll coat it in glue or clay or whatever, and they'll use yarn to just leave down the lines. And when we do it for workshops, we use the Tulip Slick Paint, which is a fabric paint, and that dries within like 15 minutes, or depending on what you're looking, if you use a heat gun or not. But yeah, I think it's just about like going slow and not judging yourself. So I think you covered it.
Yeah, and also like I know a lot of times people want to sell their art and all that, and which is awesome, do it. But if people are wanting to be professional artists, my first, which I know that's not what you're asking, but I get asked this quite a bit too, and a lot by people without disabilities that are wanting to be artists, but give yourself time, like give yourself at least 5 years of just working with it before you try to sell or show. It's generally what I tell people, and because you will thank yourself later, and only because start showing whenever you want. I mean, honestly, like, it's a great way to meet other artists, and it's a lot of fun and all that sort of stuff. But one of the things is, like, the more time that you have without other people judging your art or telling you if they like it, if they don't like it, all that, that's really nice. It gives you a great space to be able to grow, and but some people, that doesn't bother them. But the reason I say that is because it gives you some time to get some confidence in what you're doing and to build up your skills a little.
Without breaking the bank.
Well, yeah, and without like, and to be able to handle the criticism in a good way, like, and by that I don't mean just bad criticism. Good criticism can be just as bad for you. So, if somebody comes over and says, "Oh, I really love your artwork. I really love that painting," or the way that, "Oh, I love the way you painted that pig." You think, "Oh, yes, you're right. I did paint that pig really well." And then this pig I did not paint very well. But if somebody said, "Oh, you did," I might think, "Yeah, I'll always paint pigs like this. This will be what I do. I won't grow anymore. I won't."
I'm a pig painter.
Yeah, there's no reason to try anything else new with it, because I've already got it. So you kind of learn how to take the criticism and the advice, with a grain of salt. So if somebody says they like something, well, that's great. That's really nice. That's it's always great to hear. But no, that they may not be the end all of painting.
I think it's a mix of, like, taking in what you've heard and then what your gut tells you and all that.
Yeah.
Owen said, "I wouldn't recommend buying paints at Target or Walmart. Very bad quality. LOL."
So really? That's good to know.
I don't remember ever buying paints there. Just, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I bought some there once, but it wasn't in. I don't even know what state I was in, but it was like at a workshop for something, and we were on a buying trip with me and some people, and they didn't have an art store. But it worked good for the workshop, but it was just sort of like, it was this kind of thing where you're painting pigs. So.
Oh, and he also, this is great. He said, also, something I've learned, don't compare your artwork to other artists. Every artist is different. I even learned that one. So
awesome,
I love that advice. I think that's fantastic. Every artist is different. Everybody does. It's about your vision. It's not about, like, who's doing what, you know. So, So I'm going to show my pig. I'm done. Well, okay, I should say I'm done with the color.
Well, you're super quick.
I'm waiting for it to completely dry, and then I'm probably going to go in with, like, a real thin pen and do the outlines. So so are you ready?
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, here. Do you want to go right to you? Or
yeah, you can go to me, because it'll...
Here, let me go to the big one.
Let me see. Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's my piggy.
How's it look? I bet it's adorable.
It is adorable. Of course it's adorable. Okay, so I did the flowers. I did, like, red towards the center of the petal, and then it went out to blue.
Uh-huh.
And they're real loose, very watercolor looking. And then I went up to the sky and did blue and yellows, very watercolor again looking. It kind of made a little bit of a green, but we're gonna ignore that. And then I did the pig, and I did it with mainly pink, but, like, I took some brown and just which was difficult because it wasn't totally dry. I tried to put in, like, the dark shadows, like where the ear crease is and all that stuff, and the neck and all that. And then I went in and did a bluish green grass. And then once all that dried, I went in with, like, a super dark brown blue, or no, a brown black, and did his eyes and his nostrils.
Wow.
So now I just need to, like, outline him with black or something. So.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, I like watercolors. It's fun. When I was in art school, because I was the photography route, we only had to take one painting credit, and I chose watercolor as opposed to oil acrylic, and OMG.
Wow.
It was difficult.
You didn't realize you were taking the hardest one, did you? Or
I did not realize that, but I also loved it because you can do. I mean, I'm sure you can do all kinds of crazy stuff with acrylics and oils, but
oh my god.
Oh my god. You can add salt, all sorts of things that create different effects, and just watercolor in general. You can create where the border kind of falls, where the color collects, and all that. So I really like watercolor, and it's just what I did in college. So, yeah, I feel at least slightly more comfortable in that than on acrylic.
Yay!
So,
whenever we have a little dinger, and whenever it dings, it means somebody bought something on the website. And we usually both go yay, but you know.
Dana said, "I love that you said to give yourself space to fail. What is your favorite failure that made you grow?"
Gosh, you know, I have a really hard time painting hands, and I still do, but I've messed up a lot on hands, and that sort of pushed me to kind of practice hands more. And the mural that we're doing right now it's just two hands that are holding a mask, and I wanted to do that because it's harder, and it's a harder.
And they're spot on. Like you killed those hands on that mural, and they're just hands. So if you got to get it right.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought this is going to be horrible if it doesn't work out. So I've got to, but because I my hands a lot, because a lot of times with my drawing, the idea behind my drawing is that I want to use as few lines as possible, because I want the mind to put together the images. So I don't want to draw. It isn't like super realism for most of my paintings. Like the Piggy thing, this is fun and different, but for most of my paintings, I want there to be as few lines as possible. So if you can get by with 2 lines for a nose instead of 20, then I'll do 2, because I want it to go into the person's mind and for them to build the face. And then I don't know. I almost think that the more that a person is putting themselves into it, then the more they're getting out of it. It's like art. The more you put into it, the more you get out of it. So, when you're actually painting it, and so I don't know. I went off on a tangent there.
No, that makes.
But with the hands, a lot of times the hands, because they're all, a lot of times if you have a whole body and the hands are just doing something, so I'll go like blah or blah blah, on the hands, so they're all just crazy. But because of that, I really wanted to focus on trying to do the hands and do them really, really well, and so that's what I did with this mural, and it's going to be hanging in the art center for everybody that goes to the arts in it, and we'll see it.
Yeah, we posted a couple of pictures. Anybody that's curious what it looks like, we posted a couple of pictures. The last few posts of this is John working on it. So if you want to check that out, it's in the feed. Cassie said, "Wow, did you draw that too?" Yes, I did draw it. Basically, John drew his, how it went down. John drew his. He came into the kitchen and was like, "This is what I'm painting. Do you want to
trace it?"
do you want to trace it, or do you want to draw it, or do you want to paint it even during the show? And I was like, sure. And so I just took a picture of it and then put it up on my computer and then drew it really fast. Like something simple like that, I can draw fairly easily. So I didn't have to trace it or anything like that. But here, I'll show it to you guys again. Anybody that's just tuning in, this is my version of John's Piggy.
I bet yours is. The only thing is I can't fill watercolor, so I can't really fill your painting. But
mine doesn't have any black lines because it was drawn in pencil and then I colored it. So I'm gonna go back in with black lines and then it'll pop more.
Oh, that'd be cool. Maybe you could share it.
That's a good idea. Owen said that's cute. Wow, thank you. Dana said gorgeous. And Philip said I've had some of my drawings posted in magazine inserts from before I lost my sight. I'm just now trying to get back into it. I missed the enjoyment of it. So.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah,
man.
that more power to you. And if you get down, as you're working on it, chime in and let us know how it's going. I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, and that's and I have to admit, like for me being somebody that did art for the vision loss, it could be a little hard because suddenly you're not able to do it the way that you used to be able to do it. Which means that you're having to learn new techniques. Everything has to slow down. And so it seems like you've gone backwards. But one thing I think, if I don't know if this will help you, but it helps me to remember that the idea of art's a verb. Painting is a verb. So the fact that we end up with a painting is really great. But what's super important and the most important is that it's something that you do. And the benefits that we get from it are from actually doing it. So being in the moment, going brushstroke to brushstroke, thinking about your composition, thinking about the colors, talking with other people about it and all that. These are the benefits. This is what adds, value to our day, and it makes it better. And if we end up with a really great painting or something that we're proud of at the end, it's just, it's icing on the cake. That's great. Yeah, it's a perk.
It's just a perk.
That's great. But if not, it was still a big win, so it doesn't really matter. So I know when I first started painting and everything after the vision loss, I gave myself an entire year to not judge anything that I did, because I knew it was going to be a little crazy and zany for a while. So, and if I did start to judge it, I didn't get down on myself and be like, "Oh, you weren't supposed to do that." I would just remember, "Oh yeah, I'm not supposed to do that, did I?" And so I'd stop judging it and just move on to the next thing, And then after a year of that, I stopped being so critical about absolutely every painting that I did and trying to kill myself over it, like if I did a bad job. But just think, yes, okay, I've learned this. The next time I'm going to do this a little better, and this, you start evaluating it in a way of more like, so I wonder how I can make this better next time, or how I can do this. And anyway, I'll get off my soapbox about all that. It's just art can be such a positive sort of thing, and it's and if we stop judging ourselves so harshly about it, then it feels better. It's more fun.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, my mom said that's an awesome question, referring to the your favorite failure question earlier. And then Mike joined us and says, "Am I late again?"
Oh,
yes.
Mike, you're so late. but you're just in time. That's brilliant.
Yeah, and I'm just happy that he's here at all, because he had an incident and was in a car accident, and so I'm just glad you're tuning in at all period here. Yeah. Joining us. I'm glad you're here. So
my goodness.
And my mom said, yes, you're late. So anyway, I don't know, how much more of your Piggy do you have, or are you done?
Oh, well, I think I'm done for now, at least. Here,
we'll have to do a side-by-side post of our Piggies.
Well,
I like that you have two different greens.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I have a light green for the leaves, and then a darker green for the grass or the big stems that are coming out of this. The little flowers, I decided to do purple, and then I have yellow centers, because one nice thing about the yellow and the pink and all that is that they're complementary. So I thought about doing just yellow flowers, because that would have been nice, or white with yellow in the middle, but I don't know. I went with purple. Thought that might be nice.
Yeah, I like that.
So the back is probably a little dark. There's definitely things that I would go back in on this. Generally, when I paint, like when I'm working on my studio paintings, I'll go in and I'll change things 10 times, 15 times, like layers and layers and layers. So like with this, I would go back in and I would probably add more detail to the clouds and make it a little more, a little zany, a little more fun. I don't know, but you don't have to do that. And I wanted to keep this kind of folksy. But the best part was doing the painting with you, though. That was really
you're
cool.
The best.
Oh, you are. That
it was fun. Thanks for the image. That was a lot of fun.
And I'm so glad that you did that too, because it's two different versions of the same painting. Which
yeah, it's pretty slick.
So I don't know what we're gonna do next week, guys, but it's open. Maybe if you guys like this sort of thing where we're doing kind of a simple painting, but we do it throughout the entire stream, we can keep doing more of these. If you'd rather, I don't know, like me just working on the stuff that I'm working on in the studio, we can do that too. Or we can do a mix.
And we'll do more trivia, because that's always fun. We'll do more trivia,
that's always,
obviously.
I like that too. That's I don't know. It's nice to. I don't know. It's so stressful, but it's good.
It's so stressful. Well, Owen says looks great, and
thank you.
So
Owen.
Cool. So I guess be sure and tune in next Tuesday, guys. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Share us with your friends. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you later, guys. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.